What if in the next Shadow of War game, instead of Talion, it's just like a reimagining of the game, but you're playing as Kratos? So everything else is the same, but you're just playing as Kratos. And of course, the mechanics can change depending on what do you think Kratos would be physically able to do in the game. Then again, at that point, it's like you summoned your bodyguard, Master Chief from Halo. I'm just imagining Kratos with the chain swords, chopping up orcs with Master Chief and sniper rifle. Heck, remember Sword Chuck's 8-bit theater? God of War series Kratos. Beware of unmarked spoilers. While we make an effort to cover some of the most important spoilers, we cannot guarantee that every potential spoiler will be hidden or that those that are hidden consistently. Character bios in particular are likely to discuss late events in the series. Most spoilers taking place within the original series will be unmarked for later entries. Lastly, some tropes are going to be spoilers because of their mere presence. You have been warned. Kratos. The gods of Olympus have abandoned me. Now there is no hope. Soul Calibur. I still say Ivy from Soul Calibur. The video game is... she has awesome tits. Broken Destiny, Mortal Kombat 9, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, Secret Level 2024. The Ghost of Sparta, the Bane of Olympus, slave of the gods, bastard son of Zeus, former servant of Ares, general of Ragnarok, savior of the 9 realms. The God of War, and despite everything, the God of Hope. The protagonist of the God of War series, Kratos is known by many as the Ghost of Sparta, due to his ashen white skin and his dark, troubled past. Not unlike that of a traditional Greek tragedy. Once the brutal captain of the Spartan army, Kratos led his men throughout several conquests, all across the lands, eventually coming across a savage barbarian horde. Confident of his own victory, Kratos led his army into battle, but soon found himself hopelessly outnumbered and outclassed, the barbarians' brutality exceeding his own, and on the verge of death, Kratos struck a deal with the god of war Ares to further his exploits. In exchange for servitude to Ares, Kratos was given the Blades of Chaos, an enchanted pair of short swords attached to his arms with chains. He would then commit atrocity after atrocity in Ares' name, spreading death throughout the world with his armies, and justifying it all by proclaiming it his intent to make the glory of Sparta known throughout the world for a time. It seemed his only tether to humanity was his beloved family, yet even they grew horrified by him, to the point where his wife Lysandra would state outright he cared nothing for Sparta's glory, but for his own. He would not listen to her and continued his rampage, blindly following the will of Ares in his pursuit of more bloodshed and infamy. Yet this took a tragic turn when the god tricked him into killing his wife and child, all to destroy what little humanity he had left. Branded the ghost of Sparta for this terrible deed, the ashes of his wife and child would remain fused to his skin forever. Completely undone by the killing of his wife and child, Kratos became a constantly suicidal and greatly bereaved wreck of a man, beloved by none and yet known to all, devoting himself to the other gods of Olympus in a desperate attempt to rid himself of his memories. Kratos would hang on to the small glimmer of hope that perhaps he would one day be able to redeem himself. Yet, no matter how many enemies he'd slaughter, or how many lives he would save, the gods would continue to put labor upon Kratos' shoulder, forcing him to endure the pain of his memories for 10 long years of servitude. Maddened by his memories and unable to find a moment of peace, Kratos would develop a deep-seated hatred of the gods, and especially Ares in particular, for toying with his life. Though Kratos would eventually defeat Ares and claim the throne of the god of the war for his own, his resentment of the other gods would bring him into conflict against all of Olympus, culminating in a cataclysmic series of battles against them that would decide the fate of Greece itself. In the aftermath of the slaughter of the Olympian pantheon, Kratos moved north to the Norse realm of Midgard. Final Fantasy VII. Ashamed of his past and determined to grow beyond his self-destructive behavior, he would live a quiet, normal life. When Faye dies, Kratos and Atreus attempt to carry out her final wish to scatter her ashes to the highest mountain in the Nine Realms. Gone are the chain blades, replaced with the Leviathan axe, a humble wood-cutting axe imbued with ice magic. However, on their journey they come into conflict with various supernatural creatures, particularly a mysterious stranger who cannot be killed and may be acting under orders from the Allfather of the Norse gods himself, Odin. As events unfold, Kratos is forced to dig up the remnants of his past in more ways than one, to defend his son from those that hunt them and see his wife's request through to the end. But despite his desire to move on from the man he once was, every step him and Atreus take brings him closer to the prophecy of Ragnarok, the apocalyptic final battle between Asgard and the other 8 realms. With the fate of the 9 realms hanging in the balance, it seems that they have no choice but to once again go to war with the Gall of the gods. This page is tropes regarding Kratos in general. For tropes exclusive to his portrayal in Greek era, see here. For tropes exclusive to his portrayal in the Norse era, see here. Still waiting on the game where he goes and fights the pantheon of Egypt. Accidental murder. Action dad. Ambiguously brown. Anti-hero, anti-villain. Apologetic attacker, arc symbol. The atoner. Bald authority. Kratos never had hair. Bald head of toughness. Barbarian hero. Baritone of strength. Bastard. Been there, shaped history. Berserk button, Berserker, Beyond Redemption, Blade Enthusiast. And I suppose we could just read all of these, because like I said, there's so much we could do. We could, read all the little entries for each thing. And we could also click on this and then read what all this is. Fighting is everything to the Blood Knight. He lives for it. It's not winning or losing. Morality, the motives of his allies, or even the glory that drives this guy, so much as the opportunity for a good fight. I don't know. We'll come back to this at some point, maybe. I don't know.